Nestled in a quiet fishing village near Kempot is a mangrove conservation group. This social enterprise has joined the community together to stand up for their needs. The Community Coalition has their sights set at saving mangroves from several local threats. Mangroves are at the base of this fragile ecosystem and provide life to crabs, crustaceans, and other fish. Without the success of mangroves, fishermen in this community would not be able to survive, especially considering that fish is a major staple of their diet. In addition to bringing life, mangroves also protect the surrounding villages from erosion and flooding during the rainy season. Sadly, this community faces several challenges, which were the reason for joining the people together to create a social enterprise. Climate change is altering the way that these aquatic plants develop and survive. The leader of the group explained that the seedlings they plant are having a difficult time rooting in the dramatic tidal patterns, and what used to be a reliable rainy season has now become sporadic and the cause of much frustration from farmers and fishermen. In addition to climate issues, the community also struggles with the Cambodian government. Land grabbing is a constant threat to the progress they have seen in recent years. The government is constantly threatening to build condos and profitable tourism industries where the mangroves currently grow. This leads a conservation group to feel insecure in their efforts. This group is a social enterprise and receives funding from different sources. They offer educational tours, paddleboard tours, volunteerism retreats, and villas on the water for rent. While these endeavors are a great way to supplement funding, the conservation group relies heavily on other donors. Unfortunately, they recently lost funding from a group in Italy that was donating consistently to the group. This tight-knit community faces several challenges, but they continue to persevere, challenge the government, and restore the mangroves necessary for a healthy ecosystem.
So could you tell me a little bit about what you learned working with the Mangrove Conservation Center?
So I learned a lot about the power of community ties and having a strong community to really lift you up out of a situation. When we spoke with the leader of the conservation group, I was really moved by the way that he said, even though that they experience all these issues of land grabbing in the surrounding areas, because the community is so strong there, the government kind of hasn't threatened them as much as other nearby communities. And so I also learned a lot about how dedicated Cambodians are to saving their environment and how they recognize that it's essential for their future and the livelihoods of themselves and also their future generations. So they've really used that power to stand up towards their government.
Do you see any of these problems here in Florida?
I was actually really shocked when we got to the mangrove conservation area because it reminded me a lot of my hometown in Stewart. And when we got off the boat onto the dock, when we were doing our activity, I thought that I was back home. So I was really shocked that the problems that we see across the world in Cambodia are actually the same problems that I have at home in Stewart, with corporations trying to cut down mangroves to build homes and different condo buildings, and the solutions are also very similar. The way that they restore the mangroves in Cambodia is very similar to the work that's going on in my hometown.
Some of the social enterprises where I feel like I learned the most, not only just like about the technical side of it, but just the dedication and the sheer importance of community in places that are as rural as Cambodia is, especially this part of Cambodia. But we just learned that like the community ties around this project are super, super strong, and coming together is gonna really help them in the long run. It also mirrors issues with the mangrove problems that we have in Florida. So like the solutions that are being used in Florida could be used in Cambodia, and I really feel like it could work, like actually help save these mangroves. And learning also that Cambodians are so dedicated to saving their environment and standing up to the government is something that's really cool to see, because everything with the government is so touch and go right now, and people are kind of scared to stand up for this. But just learning how dedicated they are to saving this mangrove forest is really, really inspiring. And on the technical side of it, just learning about the land grabbing issues that are going on and how every day people's land is being stolen from them because the government just decides that, hey, I'm going to take your land from you. And I had never heard of that before, and so that was really sad and really hard to learn about. And also just the difficulties that it actually takes to grow the new seeds. I had no idea that it took 1 in 10 seedlings to actually make a mangrove, and that was, it's kind of a downer learning that that's what's happening. In order for the company to evolve, they need to look at the economic side, social side, and even the tangible side of the project. Economic would be finding funding from outside sources, tourism, or even possibly longer homestays. They have the option of marketing and renting more villas around or in the community in order to raise the amount of tourism that they attract and therefore provide themselves with more income. Also, finding a foreign donor will get them the attention that they need in order to keep the government away from them. They could also try extending the homestays, like I said, in order to provide more income for the community. This would get the tourists more involved in the project and even more aware of the issues that they're facing. Socially, they could look into getting more communities connected that are facing the same exact problems that they are in order to build that stronger foundation and, again, keep the government away. Tangibly, they could try a technique that's actually been used in Florida and has been seen to work really well, is planting more than one seed together in order to help them root and grow together, and that would bring that 1 in 10 shot up and help them even further the restoration project.